Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm ready with another story. This is called Muncha, Muncha, Muncha by Candace Fleming, illustrated by G.Brian. And it is a Simon and Schuster book. It's published by them, so I'm reading it to you with their permission. And I chose it because I have a garden. And it looks like this person has a garden, and I don't see bunny rabbits or cottontails, or I think they're cottontails in my garden, but I do see them when I walk around my neighborhood. So I thought, oh, how appropriate. So here is a book, kind of what I'm going through. Well, I don't know, maybe it's totally different than what I'm going through, but we'll see, because it's got a garden and bunny rabbits on the front. So here we go. Muncha, muncha, muncha. I have this problem. Little bugs eating my vegetables. I don't have critters though. Let's see. For Martha and Ben. To my muncha, muncha, munching boys, Scott and Michael. For years, Mr. McGreely dreamed of planting a garden. He dreamed of getting his hands dirty, of growing yummy vegetables, and of gobbling them all up. But he never once tried it until this spring, said Mr. McGreely. This spring, by golly, I'm going to plant a garden. So he hoed and he sowed, and he watched his garden grow. So when you hoe something, you use a special tool. Oh, it's right here. Here's the hoe. And when you sow the garden, it's not like a needle on thread. It's like you take what fruits or vegetables or herbs, whatever you're growing, you take them out of the garden to enjoy to eat. Lettuce, carrots, peas, tomatoes, yum, yum, yummy, said Mr. McGreely. I'll soon fill my tummy with crisp, fresh veggies. I made a salad today with my veggies. But one night, when the sun went down and the moon came up, 3 hungry bunnies appeared. Tippy, 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 pat. Muncha, muncha, muncha. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is what happens to me, but it's little buggies eating. Oh, and you want them to fill their tummies, but oh, Mr. McGreely is working so hard. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his gnawed sprouts, he was angry. So he built a small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. There, he declared, no bunny can get into my garden now. Very clever, Mr. McGreely. And look who's looking over the fence. And the sun went down and the moon came out. And tippy, 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 pat. Spring, hurdle, dash, dash, dash. Muncha, muncha, muncha. It doesn't look like his idea did any bit of good. Of course not, because they're bunnies and they can jump, right? Oh my goodness, he's going to be mad. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his nibbled leaves and gnawed sprouts, he was really angry. So he built a tall wooden wall behind the small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. He huffed. Those flop ears will never get over it. No bunny can get into my garden now. It's true, he's pretty smart. Poor bunnies are not going to have anything to eat. And the sun went down. Say it with me. And the sun went down and the moon came out. And tippy, 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 pat. Dig, scrabble, scratch, scratch, scratch. Spring, hurdle, dash, dash, dash. Muncha, muncha, muncha. Oh no. So they dug. They went under the big tall wall. And muncha, muncha, muncha. They ate, they ate, they ate. Oh my goodness. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his chewed stems, his nibbled leaves, and his gnawed sprouts, he was really, really angry. So he made a deep, wet trench outside the tall wooden wall behind the small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. Here it is. It almost looks like a moat. The moats are around castles. So he calls this a deep, wet trench. And yes, trenches are long, almost like I'm going to say trenches. They're like tunnels, but you can see them. It's like when you have to bury sprinkler systems underneath your grass, and you have to dig skinny, long trails. Oh my goodness. So he made a deep, wet trench outside the tall wooden wall behind the small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. Ha! He snorted. Those puffy tails can't get under it now. They can't get over it. No bunny can get into my garden now. That's a lot of work. But he really wants to enjoy his vegetables. I totally get that. And the sun went down and the moon came up, and tippy, 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 pat, dive, paddle, splash, splash, splash. I guess they can swim. Dig, scrabble, scratch, 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 spring, hurdle, dash, 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 muncha, muncha, muncha. I guess he assumed that bunnies can't swim, and I would have assumed the same thing. These must be super bunnies. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his chomped blossoms, his chewed stems, his nibbled leaves, and his gnawed sprouts, he was furious. That's like really mad. Oh, it looks like he has a castle, huh? So he hammered and blocked, sawed and stalked, drilled and filled and trapped and locked, and he built a huge, enormous thing before the deep, wet trench outside the tall wooden wall behind the small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. I've outsmarted those twitch whiskers for sure, he exclaimed. They can't get through it. They can't get under it. They can't get over it. No bunny, no way, no how can get into my vegetable garden now. I have a feeling they're going to be too smart, but I can't figure it out. What are they going to do? Now look at this. This looks like some kind of a satellite system. And there's floodlights. Like those are really powerful lights. Here's another one. So maybe to flash the light on the bunnies and scare them. Oh, look, they're watching. They're watching. They're probably planning. And the sun went down and the moon came up and tippy, 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 stop. The three hungry bunnies looked and smelled and touched the huge, enormous thing before them. And tippy, 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 pat, the bunnies hopped away. Oh, wow. I think he did it. After all that work, I think he's going to keep the bunnies out. Oh, and I bet they were hungry too. Look at that enormous lock. Wow, the key that goes in there must be really big. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his untouched vegetables, he was happy. There it is, happy. And look at the smile. I beat the bunnies, he whooped and did a jiggly wiggly victory dance. Then he climbed over, jumped across, squeezed between, crawled under until he reached his vegetable garden. Ah, sighed Mr. McGreely, at last, smacking his lips. He picked and pulled up lettuce, carrots, peas, tomatoes, and with his basket overflowing, he reached inside for something yummy. I just saw it. Did you see it? Oh, this is clever. Look at the basket. Muncha, muncha, muncha. They are so smart. I thought they went back to their house, but no, they went to his basket. Muncha, muncha, muncha. Oh, but look, he's not going to fight it anymore. He'll share with them. The end. Oh, that was great. I love that because I do want the bunnies to have some food. And I want Mr. McGreely to have food too. Oh, I hope you like that as much as I did. That was very nice. Thank you for joining me. Until next time.